public safety issue, again, that I became intimately familiar with was impaired driving in all of its forms. Now, we know that, as you said, that this is something that's going on. This, legalization isn't going to create this. We know it's happening. Do we have any data right now as to the prevalence of people who today are driving impaired on cannabis? And I don't mean accident victims who simply the presence was found, but simply data on collisions and prevalence due to impaired driving due to cannabis.
I don't have those statistics right with me this evening, but if I could, this might be of interest to all members of the committee. I will ask my officials to prepare a summary of statistically what we do know at the present time of drug impaired versus alcohol impaired, and I would send that back to the committee just as soon as we're able to compile that arithmetic.
Okay, certainly. Thank you. Now, in Colorado, we've heard testimony that what they thought was an apparent spike in cannabis impaired driving was actually due to improved detection methods, as opposed to an increased actual incidence. Will this legislation and its provisions that are coming out of it in law enforcement, will they help to better detect and track impaired driving due to cannabis?
They will for two. The legislation, particularly Bill C-46, which is the companion piece, the legislation will assist in that regard in two ways. First of all, it will introduce new roadside screening equipment that will be more helpful in providing preliminary information about potential drug impairment, and then lead to more specific testing at the police station with blood samples. So the equipment will help for more accurate information, as well as greater training. Part of the money that I referred to in my remarks will go toward training more sobriety field testing officers who have the skill set necessary to identify situations at the roadside. At the moment, there are, roughly speaking, 3,500 of those officers properly trained across the country at various levels of police forces. Our objective is essentially to double that number over the course of the next 18 months to 2 years. And we're also aiming to increase substantially, by at least 50%, the number of drug recognition experts. These are people who are pre-qualified as experts in detecting drug-related issues and then testifying to that effect in court. There are now, roughly speaking, 500 of them in the country. We would want to see that number go up to at least 750, obviously distributed across the nation. So providing the better equipment and providing larger numbers of properly trained officers, either in the field or at headquarters in the police stations, that will certainly enable us to be more precise in future in respect of tracking the issue and quantifying the issue.
All right, thank you. Now,